Hey, welcome to the Coffee with Creators podcast. This is Rob Balasabas. We are in episode 100, I want to say 107. Really excited to have you here. Before we get started, some housekeeping things to make sure that you get the most value here on the podcast. First thing is actually just prepare this for everybody. There's a lot of questions that I get to answer around building a membership website. And so I created this free resource that you can download. It's called The Art of Launching a Profitable Membership. It's totally free. So head over to the link in the show notes or in the description down below, and you can download this guide and start using it for your own creator business. Also, I want to say thank you to the sponsors of our podcast, StreamYard. We love StreamYard. I actually got to see StreamYard last week at VidCon, and so that was really fun. Got to hang out with the team over there with Franz and also Joanne. I love StreamYard. It is the best way to live stream, to record your podcast, to do interviews, to do all of the multi-channel live streaming, all of that fun stuff. Head over to the link in the description. You can get started with a free trial of StreamYard, and you can thank me later. I love StreamYard. They're the best. And so thank you again for sponsoring this podcast. Now, today, you're going to be in for a real treat. You're going to get to meet, speaking of memberships, somebody that is doing this really well. John Garey. He runs johngareytv.com. He has the world's most comprehensive online Pilates and fitness studio. He does all of this from his home studio, all online. He has been doing this for a long time. He has a community, he has a membership, he has his own TV and mobile apps. He's got the whole thing happening. He's got a team, and he's built this out from scratch. And so he really laid down exactly how you can do this for yourself as well. And so I'm really excited for you guys to meet John Garey. Again, you are in for a treat. Make sure that you bring some type of thing to take notes, because he's dropped a lot of amazing value for you as a creator to apply to your own membership business. So without further ado, let's talk to John. All right, let's go. Hey, John, good to have you here on the podcast. Thank you so much for making it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. You're doing some amazing things online in your space, in your niche, teaching other entrepreneurs and other people really build their business as well. And I'm really excited to share your story with our audience. I think it's a really inspiring one. And so before we jump into that, though, John, sort of in your own words, take a minute or two, just sort of your origin story of like how you got here with this really successful online business, and just all. I mean, I think you just hit the silver play button, right, on YouTube, I think, and
Yeah. Yeah.
over 100,000 subs. So yeah, just introduce yourself, say hello to the audience, and kind of a little bit about your backstory here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm John Garey, and I've been in the fitness industry for since the 80s, 1980s. I have my master's degree in physical education from New York University. And then I got into what was known then as corporate fitness. It was companies that had gyms in their facilities, and so I worked for a company right out of grad school that did that, and I caught kind of the bug for teaching group fitness because that was one of the requirements of getting the position, and I'd never taught group fitness before, so I had to learn how to teach that, and I really fell in love with teaching in front of groups, and that led to me just moving out of the corporate fitness world and into commercial fitness and teaching and managing group fitness programs around the country. I moved quite a bit. I was in New York, and then Philadelphia, and then San Diego, and Chicago, and now I'm back in Chicago, LA for a long period of time. So I got to hit some really great major cities, and all the while teaching. And in the early 90s, I discovered Pilates, and I started to just fall in love with it. And I was managing a health club fitness program, group fitness program at the time, and we were the first in the Chicago area to have a Pilates mat class on our schedule. This was back in the early 90s, and yeah, so I started taking it personally, and then in the late 90s, I became a certified instructor. I studied through a couple of different schools and then landed with Stott Pilates, STOTT. I became a master trainer for them, and in 2001, I opened my own um, Pilates studio in Long Beach, California. I had the studio from 2001 until 2019. We sold in October 2018, 2019. I can't remember. But during that time, I traveled the world. I also had been in fitness videos, both mainly as a teacher for Stop Pilates. I did, probably close to 60, 70 um, DVDs for them back in the day when people were still doing DVDs.
Wow.
And I just fell in love with teaching on camera. I love it. I love the performance aspect of it. I love the reach of it. There's
Mm-hmm.
just so much that you can do. And so in 2014, I
Mm-hmm.
realized I really wanted to have my own online platform. And
Mm-hmm.
so I started on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
and created content, and then we built a website. I had a web designer help me build a website. It was our original video on demand service. We started with YouTube, and then we moved to our website once I kind of knew I had enough content and I knew I could do it. It was quite challenging because we were starting that business while we still had our brick and mortar business.
Right.
So it was running two businesses and anybody who does that knows that that can be really challenging. Um, and then my partner, who was working in the business at the time, wanted to go back to the airline business, which is what his passion is. And
Mm.
uh, he got a job with United at headquarters, which is in Chicago. So um, we were we moved, and the big thing for me was I really wanted to have a place with some space. I'd lived in cities pretty much my whole adult life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I wanted a yard, and I also wanted to be able to film. At the time, we were renting space
Mm.
to film. We were renting a warehouse space, and I really wanted you know, I really wanted to work from home. So I wanted to find a place where we could um, have a production studio at home, and it was a challenge to find that. But we did. We just landed on the space that I'm sitting in right now, which is outside of Chicago. It's in Wheaton, and you can see that's a window behind me. It's not a green screen, and that's my backyard.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, the previous owner was a car collector, and he built a 5-car garage next to the house.
Mm.
It's the perfect space. It's about 1,700 square feet, and it was just a bare bones garage. So we had to insulate it. We had to, put drywall up. We had to put flooring in. I put these huge windows in behind, and we just made it into a production studio. And it was a dream. It was so much fun to do because I got to be involved in every aspect of production, the set design, all
Yeah.
of that, the lighting, the cameras, the sound, everything. So it was, I've always loved film, always, my whole
Mm.
life. And at one point I thought I was going to be an actor, and then I realized that I actually started going to school for computer science because my aptitude test said you're really good at math, you should get into computers. So I started doing that, but I'm a people person, so I just really wanted to kind of figure out what I was going to do. And throughout college, I just realized that I was really into fitness,
Mm.
and so I became a personal trainer and taught swimming lessons, um, and all of that led to me teaching me teaching Pilates. But my favorite thing was going to conferences and teaching at these huge conferences to hundreds of people. And then when I finally got in front of a camera, I realized this is like the marriage of my favorite things: working out and performing and being on camera. So that's how really that's how it all developed. And it was small and challenging in 2015. There wasn't a lot of online fitness and Pilates. There were influencers, but there weren't a lot of people putting out classes. And so it took me a while to kind of develop, okay, what's our brand? What do I want to do? What's our niche? Where do we fit in here? And then just zero in on it. And we just went full speed ahead. And yeah, we changed platforms a couple of times, which was very challenging.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But now we're on Uscreen, which is really great for us. I mean, it's
Awesome.
been fantastic. We're able to broadcast live, and I feel like Uscreen is really growing in the same way that we are. So the features that they're coming out with are things that we really want to do, and so that's been really great. And that was definitely a learning experience of figuring out how do we deliver in the best way our product. And so that was something that took us a while to kind of figure out. And now there are options. There are a lot more
Yeah.
options. When I started, we had our website and we had a video player through our website, and we had Vimeo videos that came through. It was just, there were all kinds of issues with the videos freezing and that sort of thing. So, um, then our first platform, I was like, oh, this is great. We can offer apps, and it worked pretty well, but they just didn't seem to be able to keep up with what we wanted to do. Um, and so after quite a few years, that's when we decided to make the move. I was a little nervous about that company, and I had been seeing Uscreen for a while, and for us, it was a big decision because even at the time when we made the move, which was actually last year,
Mm.
we had well over 1,000 videos. And so the migration was a huge project, because it's not just uploading a video. The video comes with the preview. It comes with like a commercial for it, an ad basically, and then it comes with the notes that we provide with every single workout. And then you have to have your description. You have to have a featured image, or a cover shot. So there were so many moving parts trying to migrate from one platform to another, and that was probably the biggest challenge that we had, um, as a business, was
Mm.
making that move, and making sure we were bringing all of our customers with us. And um, and so it was a big decision, and it was a really long year in my life to get all of that stuff together that we needed to make happen for the move.
No, I bet. I bet. I mean, John, thank you so much for that. I have so many. I'm making notes of all the things I kind of want to unpack. There's so many things. I mean, such an awesome journey that you've had so far. Um, First, I can totally see you as an actor when you. I can see you as an actor.
Thank you.
You're in great shape. I mean, man, I wish I was, in the same shape. But yeah, you're in great shape. Yeah, so I can totally see that. I also love that your dog is always kind of making a cameo in your video. It's really cool.
The dogs are the co-stars, usually the stars, and I'm the co-star.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're the supporting cast.
yeah. When they're
No,
having videos, people always are like, "Where are the dogs? I tune in to see the dogs. Where are the?"
yeah, I love that. I've actually never really seen that, but it does like kind of put you at ease a little bit. Like, it's like, oh, there's a dog, and it's like the attention is not fully on you, but it is on you. But there's something
Well,
else
it's
interesting,
also,
kind of, to
yeah.
watch.
So our audience works out primarily. Our audience works out from their home, and
Yeah,
a lot of people have pets,
yeah,
and so many people send us images of their animals. And the first, we didn't start out having them on set. I always was trying to keep them off set, but they kept wanting to come on and be next to me. And so finally I just said, look, just put a bed on the set and hopefully they'll just, and they did. They just laid down. They just, everyone's like, do your dogs do anything else but sleep? They only sleep when I teach. I bore them to tears when I teach, and they just sleep. And they know as soon as we're done filming, their ear is perked. You can
It's
see his ear
playtime.
perked.
Yeah.
As soon as he hears my signature sign off, he's like, "Yep, all right, let's go. It's time for a walk and some treats."
Aw, that's awesome.
So
That's
it's almost,
awesome.
without even trying, they were kind of trained to just hang out on set, and
That's so
and
cool.
yeah, it's cool. And sometimes there's one, sometimes there's two. We have two dogs, so sometimes there's one, sometimes there's two. It just depends on their mood and whether or not they even want to come down from the house to join me on set. So but yeah, I think it's really funny because they probably started joining us on set in like 2017, and I
Yeah.
had never seen anybody else with their pets on
Yeah.
set. And over the next couple of years, all of a sudden people were adding
Oh,
their pets.
really? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a trendsetter.
Yeah, you are. You are. That's
I probably
truest.
it probably has nothing to do with me, but I'm going to take full credit for
Oh, yeah, yeah,
people
yeah, yeah. No,
having their pets on set with them.
own it, own it, own it. No, that's really great. No, I love that idea. I love that you're doing that. It's just so cool. Yeah, and also when you mentioned your background, I was gonna ask you, like, is that a picture? Is that like I kind of watched a few videos. I'm like, no, that looks real because it looks different, and you can't be like, is it a big giant TV that you just like
Yeah.
change all the time? But yeah,
When,
no,
when
that's such a
I
good
was
idea.
when I was designing the space with the contractor, and I was telling him what I wanted, I said, "Look, I want a window,
Yeah,
and I want the biggest window you can put there." And so it's actually not even a residential window. It's like it's like it's what you would see in a storefront.
like a
That's
mall. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. That's the size window that we have, because we're just lucky because the garage is right in front of we call it the Magic Garden
yeah,
because it's just I don't the previous owner had planted all these perennials in the
yeah.
back, so throughout the year all these different flowering plants keep popping up out of the ground. We haven't done really anything.
It is just magic. Yeah,
What the other people have done. I mean, we weed, but that's about it. But
that's
yeah, so
amazing.
it's awesome. And then
I like that.
because we're in Chicago, you see the four seasons.
Yeah.
So you see all the change of colors in the fall, and then in the winter there's snow on the ground. Um, the one thing that that the videographer does talk about a lot is the challenges of lighting against
Mm,
a window.
yes.
So if you've ever done that, you know that if you don't have, I have right now, I have six spotlights. I have all the lights on in the studio because you're basically filming against the sun.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
it doesn't matter how many lights I have in
that's
here,
right.
I'm still not going to beat what's happening outside. So yeah, so anyone who is thinking about, oh, that's a cool idea,
Yeah.
try it out first
Yeah. Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
challenging to film against a window.
Exactly, exactly. No, that's that's so good. I mean, I just really I like what you've done. I think whether it's strategic or it just is like with your dogs and your set and the big window, it just is a very engaging. Yes, we're here for Pilates and fitness workouts and things like that, but it's just a really engaging sort of like I'm stepping into your space.
Yes.
Like in person, like I'm there almost. Yeah. So
And that is exactly what we want. We want to be your online Pilates studio. That is
yes.
what we want to be. So
Yeah.
when you join us online, I want you to feel like you're right here with us. So
Yeah.
I want you to see the outside. I want you to see our dogs. I want you
Yeah.
to see the space, and that is our intent. So I'm glad that's
Mm.
coming across.
Yeah. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. I love that. Yeah. I want to dive into your business model here. Some of the folks out there now in the content space, and I'm sure people that are listening have courses. like one-off courses, and we, obviously here at Uscreen, we are very much championing memberships. The membership business model with recurring revenue and a subscription-based model with the community and everything. I'm curious, did you ever do courses?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts between courses and memberships as it pertains to a business model?
Yep. So actually, we have both.
Mm.
So what we have on John Garey TV is a video on demand platform, and it is subscription based.
Mm-hmm.
So we put out content. Um, I feel like in this day and age for workouts, it's not like back in the day when I used to film DVDs.
Yeah.
People would buy the DVD and they would do it until the DVD wore out. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
would literally do that same workout day after day after day after day. And now people are hungry for today's content. So that's why I feel it's really important to provide, classes every week. I mean, you can develop it any way you want. People on our site obviously select their favorites that they will do over and over again, workouts that they fell in love with that they
Yep.
want to do with either me or my team of instructors. Um, but a lot of people want to do the workouts that you are doing today, or this week. So they want the fresh workouts. And that's become so apparent to me that we actually are starting the week of June 5th. So in just a week, we are moving. We started doing live broadcast workouts about 6 months ago. And yeah, so if you go to the live, yeah, if you click on live events, you'll see that starting June 5th, we are going to 12 live classes every week. So it's me
Wow.
and four instructors. Yeah, it's me and four instructors. And Monday through Friday, you'll get a reformer class every day. There's going to be 3 mat classes a week, and then we're going to do other Pilates equipment. We're going to do spring wall, we're going to do chair, and I'm going to do a jump board class on the reformer. So,
Wow.
our subscribers are, I mean, there's so much value there, right, for your money. And yeah, so the classes, I'm super excited about it. We've been working toward this for the last couple months. I've hired a local team of instructors. I call them the home team because I have instructors that I bring in from out of town, the away team. But
I love
the,
that. They
the
got
home
jerseys,
exactly, yeah, yeah.
dark and light jerseys. Yeah.
And the home team will be teaching with me. We'll be teaching 5 days a week. So everybody's got a day
Wow.
that they're coming in and teaching a couple classes, and they'll be live. And then what we do with all of our live classes is edit them and then
Hmm.
put them on demand. So if you can't make the live
Beautiful.
class, still take the on demand class later in the day or at that very latest by the next day.
I love
Um,
it. I love that.
so and this is, we're doing this kind of uniquely as well because I obviously try a lot of different platforms just to see what I like and what people are doing and that sort of thing. And one of the things that some platforms do is they do kind of their live class and then they put it on demand later, but their live class is uh, it's not evergreen.
Mm.
So, there'll be call outs during the class to, celebrate people's, whatever 100
Yep.
workout or whatever it is.
Hmm.
And when I'm taking classes, it's usually on demand on these
Hmm.
platforms because I can't make the time that, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and it bugs me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just, I just want that evergreen class. Like I want it to feel like I'm in the class right
Right.
then. And when they start calling things out or
You feel sort of excluded, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. So I've developed kind of our own way of doing it. So we have what I call the meet and greet.
Mm.
So we start broadcasting because on Uscreen you can broadcast and then you have a chat that where people can jump in, and we do what I call the meet and greet. We start that about 10 minutes prior to the scheduled class time. And as people come in, it's just like if you were in a live studio and people are coming in and you're saying hello and they're sharing where they're watching from, and and in the last month we've had people watching from over 60 countries. So it's really fun because there's people from all over the world joining the live broadcast, and we chat with them. We talk about what they're going to see. We talk about the schedule for the week, that sort of thing. And then when it's time to start the class, we do what's called a fresh start. And so then I'll or the instructor will move the laptop off screen so we can't see it, and they'll just I do a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and then it's my fresh start. Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be doing blah blah blah, and then go through the entire class just as if I was filming an on-demand class, and then we have the regular ending of the class, the on-demand ending. And then as soon as that's over, I say, all right, live crew, let me come back to you. And I grab the laptop and we chat for a few minutes. So the format is fun for them because they're there live. They're actually part of the production, which is really fun. But it's really great for the on people who are watching it on demand because they don't have to see any of that stuff. They can just tune in, get started right away, go through the class, really get their workout in, and then and then that's it.
And
So
then that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So it
great.
works.
That's great.
It's fun. It's really fun to do. And when I film live, and I know it's going to be on demand, but when you film live and you have people on the other side of the camera, it helps your energy, right? It
Yeah.
helps
Oh,
your
yeah.
performance a little bit because they're right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no edits.
There's a
So
live audience, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I love that aspect of it. It's really fun.
I love
And
that. That's so good.
I brought my team on. I hired my 4 instructors at this point that are working with me on this project, and we've spent the last couple months going through training. I developed a training program for on demand teaching excellence on demand. So it's really the skills that you need to teach on camera, as opposed to teaching in person. And I I came up with a whole. It was actually 4 2-hour workshops that we did,
Oh, really?
and yeah,
with your instructors?
yeah, with my instructors, and
Yeah.
then I meet with them individually, and we go through all of the workouts that they're presenting, and yeah, so it's super fun. It's great.
That's so
Um,
good. Yeah, you built such a beautiful thing here, John. I just got to say, I mean, I just got to commend you on what you've built. I mean, this is not something that happens overnight, and it's not something that happens without thought and planning and intention to kind of see the end vision. Do you see yourself like, as I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, there's sometimes they'll have all the traits to run a business. Is there, there's the visionary, there's the execute, the person that executes, and systemizes the process and everything, and there's the sort of the shepherd, the people leader, and the soft skills and stuff. Do you sort of see yourself as like taking care of all those aspects, or is there some aspects of the business that you outsource or hire somebody for, whether it's technical or filming or strategy or reporting, systemizing all that stuff?
yeah. So when I started, I was jack of all trades
Right.
because it's a startup business.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep my expenses as low as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and I also wanted to know as much about every facet of the business as possible.
Right.
So I had a brick and mortar business, so I already knew, I already knew about marketing, I already knew about bookkeeping, I already knew about, all the things, all of those things that you need to do. So that part of it, I had the basics for. But in terms of online,
Mm.
I was living in Long Beach at the time, in California, and they had a course at UCLA on filming.
Oh.
And I took the course and was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Which cameras do I need? How do I light it? And it was a short course, but I do say that I went to film school, even though even though
Technically.
it was just like two 4-day weekends. But but I learned all the basics and
Yeah.
enough that I could start producing content and putting it on YouTube. And then I had somebody work with me right in the beginning that I hired to like help me to help edit, and then they actually took over editing.
Mm.
And they had no idea what it was about either. We were learning as we went,
Mm.
and that's kind of fun, you know. It's like a really fun place to be, to learn all of these skills, and you have to just, you know, talk about. I had no confidence in in what I was doing, but I was willing to try, and you know, to me, that is the definition of confidence. I was willing to get out there and just do it. And if I fell on my face, pick myself up and move on.
Yeah.
But over time, I realized, okay, so I want to spend my time
Mm-hmm.
developing content, making sure that I'm doing what I need to do online, and making the product that we want to sell, and really focusing on that. So as the business grew and I was able to, I hired, well, I already had a videographer that worked with me, but I was able to hire them full time because we were creating new content. And then of course I don't know how to build a website. So at first I had somebody build a website, and now I have a platform that I use, um, which is Uscreen, and that really helps a lot because that provides the apps that we need. So
Right.
because you know, now you really need to have an app, but also the website, the subscription base, all of that stuff. And then I do have an accountant that helps me with that because, you know, as the business grows, there's
Yeah.
more and more things that you have to think about. I do not have any employees. Everyone is a
Oh,
con.
okay. Yeah. Smart.
Well, also learned from having a studio where I had 22 employees. And
Been
I
there, done
really,
that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
did not want to do, I love those guys dearly, but having employees versus having contractors, there's a big difference. It's like, okay, you know, you know, each month it's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do for you this month, and this is how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
So you know, expense wise, it makes a lot of sense. And then management wise, it makes sense because
It's good advice.
I'm not a good manager.
Mm.
I am a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good innovator. You know, I can obviously be on camera and do
Yep.
that part of it, be the talent,
Yep.
but I'm not good at managing people, like staying on top of them to do things. And
Mm.
that's the great thing about having contractors, is you have a contract. This is what I expect from you. This is what you expect from me. The end. And if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, you move on.
Yeah.
So that works really well for me. If someone's a strong manager, it might make more sense to have employees because then they're really just dedicated to your business.
Right.
Contractors are going to have many businesses that they're servicing. So that's the challenge there, is, am I getting the time I need from them, you know, and the focus I need from them on my project?
Good
So that's,
advice.
that's
Yeah.
kind of the trade-off.
That's great advice. You know, I think a lot of folks out there that are building a business feel like they need to have employees, but that's really good advice. You know, you're not a good manager. That's actually really strong to say. Like, it's great to hear from somebody at your level and caliber that I'm just not a good manager, and
Yeah, and
I'm not gonna try to do that and force it. You know, and
Yeah, and when
there's
I
other ways.
was manager, and you know, I worked really hard at being the best I could be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I was good,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I sucked, but always I hated it. So,
You
so
can't have
I
that.
don't want to do it.
That's so funny. Always, I hated it. No, that's really good advice. I'm gonna take that one. I like that. Talk to me, John. Talk to me about marketing. You have a massive YouTube channel, clearly. But yeah, I don't want to assume anything. But like, where does the majority of your new members come from? Are you guys running campaigns, YouTube, social ads? Like, yeah, share a little
Yeah.
bit of that with
So,
us.
so the other thing I'm not fond of is social media.
It wouldn't show. You show up great. I mean, I'm looking at your
Well, I
Facebook
love
and.
creating the content. I just don't want to manage it. I don't want to
Gotcha,
be on it.
gotcha,
It
gotcha,
drives me crazy.
gotcha.
So, I'm busy. I don't,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't. If I know if I'm going to get on that Instagram account and I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, and three
Right.
hours of my life is going to be sucked away. So I do everything I can to avoid getting on it.
Guilty,
And
guilty.
yeah, yeah. So in the beginning, I had to do it. But then again, as we grew, as the platform grew, I needed a marketing team to do it because I wasn't an expert at it, and it
Yeah.
wasn't something that I enjoyed doing. So,
Mm.
so I have a marketing team that, you know, contractors, a company that I use, and they, you know, they help me. They say, okay, we work together on what is your brand, what is your message, and then here's how social media can help you deliver that.
Perfect.
And then, we get very specific into that of here's what you need to put out on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, in order to get your message out and to meet the algorithm and all of that kind of stuff. And so I create the content, and obviously I know the vision of where we want to go. And then I give them the content. They schedule it. They put it out, and so they do all the things that need to be done on that side of it.
Gotcha.
Which
Gotcha.
um, I also have an ad person
Hmm.
that works with the marketing team and with me, and we do advertise on social media. We also count a lot on organic,
Organic. Yeah.
and that is, YouTube. That's SEO. It's all of those things. So um, I do a blog every
Right.
couple of weeks, that sort of thing, and it started out really just back in the day
Yeah.
in 2017. Facebook,
Hmm.
which was the biggest place to advertise, and YouTube was where
YouTube.
people could find you. And so we started way back then. 2014, 2015 were our first, fitness videos that we produced, that we put out there. And then we've just been very regular about putting content out on YouTube, and sometimes full workouts. Sometimes now we're doing like 20-minute workouts once a week. And then we do some reels and stories and, all of that stuff as well. Um, and that, really the social media side of marketing is time consuming. So it is, though, really important because it is, when you put out great posts and you share them and you put out good content on YouTube, it grows over time, and it just kind of multiplies on top of itself, but you have to be consistent.
Right.
So that's really what we do in terms of that, and that's really where where you get, no one's doing print anymore, that's for sure. So but
Yeah.
that is where you gain your audience. So I would say we get definitely people from YouTube that come over to subscribe with us.
Yeah.
And then we get a lot of people through social media. But we also market within the industry. So things
Right.
like the Pilates Method Alliance, which is the organization that a lot of Pilates instructors um, belong to. A large part of our audience is instructors, so we advertise through them, or we do, or I actually sponsor them, and that helps get your name out there. We do conferences, we do trade shows, things like that, to help us build our audience.
So it's a
So
really well-rounded marketing strategy. It's not one thing. You don't have all your eggs in just YouTube, and that's all I have. And if YouTube goes down, I'm kind of like hooped a bit. Like you do have a
yeah,
bunch of different channels where you're sourcing
you need
new
to pull from
members.
different buckets for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's great. In terms of like automations and email campaigns and your funnel, like is that something that you handle, or is that the marketing
The marketing
agency?
team, we have a weekly planning and strategy meeting,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and
Yep.
update meeting I have with them. I actually have a number of meetings. So we have an ops meeting with that's just kind of everybody that's involved, and we talk about, okay, these are the nuts and bolts of what we're putting out, what we need to do for the website, for the app, what, all of the things that we have coming up. And then marketing ties into that. Okay, how do we make sure we get our message out there? What are the things we need to do on a daily or weekly basis? And then, as our business is fluid. So this
Yeah.
change to going from, on demand, which was last year and previous years, to broadcasting is a big change. So that requires a lot of input from the marketing team of how do we get that message across, and how do we make sure we're going back to people who subscribe to us that fell off, um, and
Right.
do a win back campaign. And
Win
so
them back. Yeah.
exactly. And so when you have a new phase of your business, like what we're going into now, that's a huge part of it because we can see, we can see the reason that someone put that they unsubscribed. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times it's, I need more content. Well, now we're moving to 12 classes a week from 3. So, well, promised 3, and we would do usually 5. But now we're promising 12. We're going to do
Wow.
12.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not
Don't
gonna do 15 or 20, right? Yeah.
not at the moment.
Yeah.
But we want to let people know that now you wanted more content. We heard you. Here it is.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
um, and I believe that as you're always developing your product, you
Mm-hmm.
are serving your current clients, and that is the most important thing is retention. It's much cheaper to keep a client than it is to gain a new client. So that's really an important aspect is our community, which is great. A great feature on Uscreen on our platform is that people can join the community. They can get into that community and they can actually talk to each other. And I'm in there every day. I'm not on social media, but I'm in community. And that's a really powerful thing that we can use to say, hey, touch base with John, come and talk to him in person, or any of our teachers. We're going to be in there daily answering your questions, listening to your feedback about what you'd like to see us do in the future. And it's a really positive place. In general, social media is a mixed bag. You have really positive people, and then you get some really crazy comments about stuff that you put out there because you're putting it out to the world, and some people in the world are crazy. So when you have your community, which is on your platform, people have joined you there because they're interested in what you have to say. And so they're like-minded people who are much more positive than what you see on social media. So it's a really fun place for me to play, to just get in there and have a great time with everybody. And I love that part of it. That's another reason why we want to do the broadcast and have our chat before and after is because it's community building.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
Yes.
everybody feels a part of our community because they are. That's the reason we're there.
Yeah, that's so true. That's yeah. I saw community on your on your nav bar here, and I was like, oh, it's awesome. John's using the community feature, which is great. We love that. We're really excited about the community feature here at Uscreen. I think it's like the one piece that was sort of missing in some ways to have a holistic membership. Like you
Yeah.
have on demand, you have live stream, the access to the thought leader, but that community piece where people can engage and talk after. It's just like a class, right? Like after the class, you go out, you go to the lobby, and you change and shower and stuff, and then you're connecting with everyone. Hey, what are you guys doing later? Cool. What did
Yeah.
you think about John's thing? And that's great. What's your weekend gonna be looking like and stuff? We should
And
hang
that's where,
out.
yeah, and that's where people share for us. That's where people share their workout space. They share their furry pets,
Yeah.
their furry partners
Right.
in crime, and we get it's just such great engagement there. And people get ideas from other people's workout space of how they designed it or where they put their TV to be able to watch us, and it's just really cool. I just love that aspect of it. And prior to us having the community feature, people would go to we had a Facebook group that people could go to, but this way they don't have to leave the site. Everything is right there for them, and they can get it on the app, they can get it on the website. It's just a fabulous feature. It's really, really good.
I love it. Thank you, John. This is great. I told you guys are listening. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you guys didn't see, we're referring to John's site and his YouTube channel and everything. If you're listening on the audio version, head over to YouTube or Spotify. There's a video version, and you can really see what John's doing here. Or you can just go directly and check out John's content. I'll have all the links in the show notes and in the description. But John, I told John, I'll get you out of here in 20 minutes. And I had a quick look. John, my apologies. We're like at 42 minutes of this recording.
I think think I'm a big part of how
No,
I'm
no, 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 no.
growing
I
up.
I appreciate your time. This has been really good. Now, I want to respect your time. I know you have another call pretty soon. But before you head out, John, just speak directly to our audience of other content creators that are also looking, building their business currently and scaling it. What's one advice that you would have? I mean, you must have so many, but just one thing that you could share with us as we wrap up today.
What I've found is that if you're passionate about what you're doing and you can really zero in on what it is that you offer, so your niche, if you will, that is going to be where you make your money and where you find your happiness. So don't try to be all things to all people. Find your niche. For us, we found a niche within a niche, and you just zero in on that. And I love that saying. I think it was Stephen Covey. Um, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing, and it's so true. You have to stay true to your brand, and you have to just zero in on whatever that product is that you offer the best, maybe not of anybody, but the best that you can do. And that is going to help you build your following, and it's going to help you grow your business.
That's great. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much. And also, just on behalf of everybody here at Uscreen, I mean, you have done, we just built this platform, but you have taken it and just like you're helping so many people. You have people that work with you, and you're providing, I know it's not jobs, but you're providing work for so many people here as well. And it's just fantastic to see. It's just it's such a good, just a good showcase of how to do it well, how to do it right. So thank you for hanging out with me today and our audience. And I'm sure we will talk very soon.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.